Welcome back to Investing and Trading Live, sponsored by Trading Academy. As always, I am your host, Josh Lilquist. On the last segment, covered some topics on how to make comfortable decisions in your retirement accounts. And when I talk about retirement accounts, that's 401ks, IRAs, especially IRAs, because that's your money. You should be making your own decisions, but you want to do that with comfort. So it's taking smaller amounts of capital. So let's say for an example, for an example purpose here, you have $100,000. If you don't want to take the whole $100,000 and put it into your own account, maybe take 10 of it. Use the right asset so you're not risking the whole thing. You may only risk $50 a trade or $100 a trade and have different types of goals, singles and doubles. That way you have smart decisions in also any type of market, up markets and down markets. And we illustrate these concepts in this retirement investing class that we had people texting into and going to the website here to find out if this makes sense. And if it makes sense, then take that next step. Be able to learn those skills and make your own decisions. And you want to do that with comfort and confidence. And it does start with a little bit of knowledge. That's this part right here. Come into these investing classes for the retirement investing class and get started for whatever goal or objective that you do have. Just text the word investing to the number 210-210 for 2 seats, one for you and one for a friend, or go to investingandtradinglive.com and you can pick your own date there. So Al, with kind of that same topic here with retirement accounts and retirement strategies, a lot of people have stocks in their accounts, right? Mm-hmm. Now you look at a couple stocks here this week. You had earnings on Friday. JP Morgan had earnings, Blockbuster earnings. I mean, they closed on Thursday at about $214 a share. Only opened up around $215 and a half, but shooting straight up to $223 into the late morning. So positive earnings for them. They had the earnings report was good, and also the revenue, so that was good. You have BlackRock. They had the same thing. BLK is the ticker symbol. They also had some good movement on Friday as well. Same thing. Earnings was good, revenue was good, and same type of story. Gaps up just a little bit, but shoots up out of the open. So people have these different stocks in their retirement accounts. Now, the reason I'm going through this is if you have them, cool, you're already in that move. But if you've seen the earnings report come out and you're like, oh, hey, now I need to get into this, well, you're late to the party, right? So we talked a little bit about I believe it was the second segment, about supply and demand. Mm-hmm. Why that's so important to identify where to get in, where to get out before moves actually happen.
Correct.
And that's what you need to do in these retirement accounts, is not just have a buy and hope strategy or buy and hold strategy, is have opportunities to take profits. And that's how you actually realize those gains. Yeah. And also have the right asset as well. Right. So talk a little bit about options. Why it's so important to utilize the options market in those retirement accounts for protecting, but also, as we were talking about in that last segment, using a small amount of capital to control a much larger asset.
Well, yeah, when you learn about options, there are strategies within the options family that will allow you to benefit in multi-directional situations. So when the market is going up, when it's going down, even when it's sideways. Options can be used as a great source of income. They can be used as protection. So if you have a portfolio, you want to have an insurance policy on your portfolio like you do on your house, you can use options for that. What we find right now, Josh, is that a lot of people that find themselves behind, they're desperate in what they do, and they're using strategies that, number one, don't allow them to take advantage of the full movement of a trend.
Correct.
They're putting their stocks, their money into things that might go the opposite direction without any kind of protection. Yet the options were really designed as a protective vehicle, and all of the big players, the Wall Street, smart money, the pros, they use options as protection when they feel the market is not going to go in the direction that it's been going.
And options is available to the public, correct?
Anybody can trade options. Any of the brokerage firms out there will let you do that right now. There are, was a broker, you know that, and I had a client who had $22 million in one position, one stock that he wouldn't sell.
That's very risky.
Well, it's totally risky. So, but he thought, it's going to keep going up. I'm not worried. But it didn't keep going up. It went down. Well, we did. He didn't lose any money because we had put a position on both sides. So if that stock went up in value, he would still benefit. If it went down in value, he would be protected. In fact, could make money off of that. So this is a sophisticated situation. But for all of you people out there that have big stock holdings, of a lot of people that have been in the market that have stock have seen the value of those stocks go up quite significantly.
I think we're seeing, I don't know what it is right now, but we're seeing a lot of people that have very good wealth saved up to their perspective, right? It's all relative. I mean, $1 million could be a lot for somebody. $1 million could not be a lot. I mean, people are coming into these retirement workshops and investing classes that have several $1 million sometimes because they want to be able to protect that during these all-time highs.
Exactly, yeah. And several $1 million is not what several $1 million was 5 years ago, 10 years ago.
Yeah.
But the important thing is no matter how much you have, number one, you have to protect it. You've worked hard for what you have. Make sure it stays with you. But why not learn some of the strategies and some of the assets that give you the opportunity to increase the value of what you have without adding risk to it, and understand that nobody can tell you what direction the market is going to go all the time. You can't control some of the external things out there, and there are a lot of external potential catalysts out there that can move the market both directions. The concern is you have to be protected. I always use that analogy of a skydiver. If you're going to take up skydiving, you can't jump out of the plane, then turn back up and go, hand me my parachute.
Might be a little late.
It's a little late, and that's something you only end up doing one time. But for a lot
Hopefully
of people...
Unless you're Ric Flair, he's been in a couple plane crashes, I think.
Well,
I think it was one,
I
actually.
would not suggest you try it. And the same thing is true with your portfolio. If you worked hard and you have a nice portfolio, I can tell you, if you go back to the year 2000, you go back to the year 2008, there were a lot of people who were feeling very comfortable with what they had in retirement, and a year or 2 or 3 years later they found they had to go back to work, or they needed to do something significant because a lot of what they had just disappeared. I mean, in the year 2000, between 2000 and 2003, the NASDAQ was down almost 80%. And a lot of people were heavily skewed towards the NASDAQ because from 1995 until the year 2000, the NASDAQ was up 500%. So people just jumped in. That was the internet bubble, the dot-com bubble.
Yes.
So you have to be prepared, because you can't control what happens. So you have to be prepared so that you're protected and you can take advantage of whatever happens.
I like that. And Al, we have thousands and thousands of listeners, obviously here in the metro, listening to the radio. Whether they listen to whatever station that the show is played on. It's on several stations. There's also a lot of people, thousands of people listening to the podcast globally, and they're probably thinking to themselves right now. And this is going to be custom for each person.
Right.
They're probably thinking, how do I retire with $250,000? Or how do I retire with $500,000? Or some others are probably thinking, how do I retire with $1 million? How do I retire with $2 million, $3 million? So whatever that account size that you have, people are thinking those questions. And these retirement investing classes that you teach a lot, and I teach these as well, we go over, okay, how do you retire with that?
Yeah.
What strategies do you need to protect that? But also, what strategies do you need to continue to grow that? Because it's not getting any cheaper to live. People want to leave a legacy for their family. And if you think about it, when you retire, your income stops. And that is one of the most important times to have income. So people are wondering, okay, how do I retire with X amount of dollars? And then how do I continue to grow that to leave some for the family?
Yeah, and there's not one size fits all strategy.
Exactly.
So everybody has to be looked at as an individual. A plan has to be specific to you.
Yeah. So if you're one of those people that are thinking, how do I retire with whatever account size that you have, come into one of these retirement investing classes. That way you can see what are the strategies that you need, as Al was alluding to, it's custom for each person. So to come into one of these retirement investing classes, simply just text the word investing to the number 210-210. So you're going to get a text right back when you do that, and there'll be a link to our landing page, and you can pick your own date there. So you got to click the link. So if you're on your phone, text the word investing to the number 210-210. Click the link once you get the text right back, and then you can pick those dates. We have these classes all across the metro. We're also at our state-of-the-art facility right here in Bloomington. Text investing to the number 210-210 for a retirement investing class, and find out, what can I do to retire with X amount of dollars? What are the strategies designed for that? You can also go to investingandtradinglive.com and just pick your own date there as well. We got a calendar there, and actually a couple pictures of our classroom as well. Oh, we've had a great discussion today. A lot of retirement questions that we've been getting, so we're bringing those to the airwaves. Let's hear today's OTA tip of the week.
Well, Josh, there's a part of us that's always going to be fearful, especially when it comes to our money. But you just can't let that fear be in charge. And the only way you can get beyond the fear is with some kind of action. And if it's financial action you need to take, then you start with education. Ray Dalio, who's the chief investment officer at Bridgewater, one of the most successful traders out there, said this, quote, make sure that's the people that are teaching you, make sure they're fully informed and believable. Find out and know who is responsible for whatever you're seeking. Listening to uninformed people is worse than having no answer at all. One of the most important decisions you can make is who you are asking questions of, unquote.
I like that. Come into one of these investing classes, text investing to the number 210-210. As always, same time, same place next week. Until then, retire young, my friends.